Brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith.
this world as it is. Go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is. Go inside to find my God. Sing it again. I will leave this world as it is. Go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is. Go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day as it is. I will leave this day as it is. Go inside to find my God. I will leave this day as it is. Go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is sacred love. Inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is. Go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is. Go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. Wasn't that perfect for right now? We're all going inside to find our God. Well, good morning and welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, a place of peace, an island of illumination, a center of sanity. I'm Maxine Kay, and I'm so blessed to be the spiritual leader of this beloved community. So wherever you are in the world, and wherever you may be on your spiritual path, you are so welcome here with us. We continue to experience our connection no matter where we are. Yes, we are broadcasting each Sunday morning from the beautiful Inspiration Cafe and bringing you into our hearts and continuing to expand our reach so that we are all together until we are all physically together, and that day will come. So our hearts are open to you as we navigate these internal challenges and external world conditions. Because here in this beloved community, while we're not yet gathering in person, we will be doing so, and we're maintaining our connection with God, our source, and we're maintaining our connection with each other. I don't know how we, as divine human beings, can truly move along our spiritual evolutionary path without connecting to our source. And just as importantly, connecting with each other. This is when and where the miracles take place. As we've heard, we are all angels with one wing, needing each other to fly. And that's a good thing to remember, isn't it? So our vision is a world that works for everyone. And our mission is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And we have a purpose statement, don't we? And it is very much on purpose. And if you would care to, please say it with me now. Living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. And now we're going to have our opening song by Karen Drucker and Claudia Carawan, and it's simply called Brave.
If I just show up, be open to surprise, there could be miracles right before my eyes. If I just let go, something better might appear. Who knows what will happen when joy replaces fear? When I dare to be all that I'm meant to be, like a shooting star across the sky, unstoppable and free. I shine my light, I turn darkness into light. When I dare to be brave, when I dare to be brave, I'll trust in who I am, be bold and take a shot. Who knows what will happen when I give it all I got? Even when I'm scared, I'll step into the ring. I've got so much to offer with the gifts that I can bring. When I dare to be all that I'm meant to be, like a shooting star across the sky, unstoppable and free. I shine my light, I turn darkness into light. When I dare to be brave, oh, I'm brave. I've worried for so long and I've wasted too much time. But now I'm ready to take a chance and claim what is mine. The path is free and clear, there's nothing in my way. I listen to my heart and not what other people say. I'm gonna take that leap. I've never felt so strong. I might not do it perfectly, but I'm right where I belong. And when I dare to be all that I'm meant to be, like a shooting star across the sky, I'm unstoppable and free. I shine my light, I turn darkness into light. When I dare to be brave, when I dare to be brave, nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing is in my way. 'Cause I'm brave, I'm brave. I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna be brave.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. She writes the most beautiful, inspiring, and true music, doesn't she? Okay, kids, wherever you may be, would you gather round for a moment? I'd like to have a word with you, or a few words with you. Oh my gosh. I know that you're aware of what's going on in the world. I know that you see the images on television of mothers in tears carrying their children to safety out of Ukraine, those who are able to do that. It's very hard to see that, isn't it? It's heartbreaking. And yet, we have something to do. We truly do, and we truly can. You see, we begin within our own hearts, with our own families, with our own neighborhoods, and our own circles of living. Some of you may have heard of the Reverend Jesse Jackson. I receive a daily little inspiration that just automatically comes in to my email every day. And today's inspiring quote was from Reverend Jesse Jackson, who said, "We must turn to each other and not on each other." There's too much in the world with people turning on each other, doing evil things to each other, mean things to each other. It doesn't just happen in different places in the world, does it? It happens in schoolyards. It happens in our own neighborhoods. And this is where we have something that we can do about it. What is it that we can do? Well, we can practice listening to and loving each other at home. Oh, I know, especially those of you who are teens or close to teens. I can remember not wanting to hear anything that my parents suggested to me. I can remember thinking, what do they know? And I can remember when my own kids were teens, the same thing. I thought, okay, this is karma. Which means I'm getting back what I was putting out. We're better than that. Even the smallest children, maybe especially the smallest children, just come from love, and we can return to that place too, so that we're kind to each other, so that we're more understanding and patient with each other. And then the next thing that we do in establishing that wonderful sense of love and compassion right where we are is to send that love out to the world. Send it out. Send it out. Keep sending that love out to the world. You really and we really together can make, and I know are making a difference. We may not be seeing it yet, but it is beginning to show itself in the world. It has to show itself right here, right now, first where we are. So let's turn to each other at this time when we need to make a difference in our own hearts, in our own minds, in our own families and neighborhoods, and in the world itself. Yes? I knew I could count on you. Thank you. I'll see you next week. One of these days, we're going to see you in person. Don't forget that. Love you so much. I think it must be time for meditation. I'm thinking of a beautiful quote from one of my most beloved books. It was written by Agnes Sanford, who was the wife of an Episcopal priest. And the book that she wrote was called The Healing Light. And the quote that came from that book that inspires me and reminds me all the time what is mine to do is simply, you bring your light into another person's darkness just long enough to lead them out of the dark and back into the light. That's what we must do right now. Instead of getting ourselves caught up or caught down into the darkness, we're keeping our lights steady in order to help others out of their darkness. So let's take a few deep breaths, a deep, sacred, holy breath of life. Know that we're breathing in the very life of Spirit. And then as we exhale, let's breathe out that divine life so that it is a moving energy to touch and bless and lift everyone in the world, beginning with ourselves and our loved ones and our neighbors. Breathe in the life of God and express that life so we become beautiful circulating fountains of light and love. And now let's allow that holy breath, which it is, a holy breath. It is Spirit breathing us. Let's allow it to create a bridge over which we move and enter our hearts. Oh, the welcoming we receive as we enter our hearts, the embrace of Spirit, so warm and nurturing and so beautiful. We come in and begin to notice that deep within our hearts, a light may be small at the moment, but it is steady and it is true. And as we focus on it and begin giving thanks for its presence within us, it begins to glow more brightly. It is a love light, the divine love and the divine light of Spirit is that which has always been within our hearts and is becoming brighter. Let that light expand, fill your heart, fill your body, fill your entire consciousness until you feel as though indeed you are aglow with this love light divine. Allow it to continue to move out and fill the room where you are. And then your entire dwelling place. Radiant light, love light. Let it move out into your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, and as it moves out further into the world, and you look upon those conditions in the world that are heartbreaking and seeming to be overwhelming, let your love light reach underneath them and lift them and shine so perfectly that all become illumined. All. Those within the country of Ukraine, those at their borders, those who have entered. Let that love light illumine and lift and heal and transform from fear to faith, from aggression to compassion. This light is true. It is eternal. It is ours to shine. It is ours to lift. And how grateful we are to be the instruments through which the world is now becoming illumined. Every country, every leader, every citizen illumined by the radiant light of God's love. And we trust that this light continues to grow brighter, to touch and to bless and to transform all people and all sentient beings everywhere. We give thanks for this opportunity. As we come back now to our own hearts and continue to feel the peace and the love, the light, the presence of God, the experience of a growing joy. How grateful we are to know the truth that sets us free and keeps us free. All is well in our personal worlds. And let's enter for just a moment of silence into our heart of hearts, knowing that our hearts are being held tenderly and strongly by the great heart of God itself. Come into the silence for just a moment. We are illumined. We are the illumination of spirit. All is well. All is well. How grateful we are. Now I would invite our practitioner of the day, Nettie Bonner, to open us up with a beautiful spiritual mind treatment.
Good morning. My name is Nettie Bonner, and I'm a practitioner at the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. And it is my honor to join you this morning and offer the opening prayer. I'd like to start with a few quotes. Today's theme is about being brave. So I have a few quotes that I particularly love about being brave. The first is from Winnie the Pooh. You're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. How true. Next is from Steve Jobs. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. E.E. Cummings. It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. So let's all have that courage. And lastly, from Ernest Holmes, in my favorite book of his, This Thing Called You. Knowing that the loving presence is always closer to me than my very breath, I have nothing to fear. So please join me, if you like, in our affirmative prayer. I'm going to state this in the first person, and I welcome you to take this as your own if you wish. The one magnificent presence and power of God is the only truth in this world. And it is good and only good. This power is a power for peace, for love, for joy, for abundance. And it is all that is true. I am one with this presence and this power. And as such, all the joy and power and goodness and love are me and are part of me. As I embrace this truth, I know that only good is the truth of my life. Any regrets I have for the past, any anxiety or worries of the future, vanish as I embrace the truth of divine order and divine goodness. I release any striving and let divine order flow through my life. And I allow and welcome the goodness of spirit in me and around me as the only truth. I have the courage to step forward into my good and embrace the good that is already there, awaiting my welcoming, awaiting my acceptance of this good. I step forward with cheerful expectancy, knowing that my good is here now, my good in every and all forms of my heart's desire. I know this is the truth for me, and I know this is the truth for everyone, as we see goodness proliferate in our world. I am so grateful for this truth. I embrace this truth with gratitude, and I release my word to the law, knowing it is already done. It is true. It is so. And so it is.
Beautiful, Nettie. Thank you so much. Let's now join together in today's affirmation. I do not have faith in God. I have the faith of God. In that difference, I am participating in the unfoldment of divine creation. Now I have the great honor and privilege and delight of introducing to you our guest speaker this morning. He is not a guest. He is an intricate and intimate and essential part of this beloved center. Many of you join with him on Saturday mornings for his Science of Mind book study, which is wonderful. We've been reading this textbook, as we call it affectionately, one page and one paragraph and one sentence at a time. He's been doing this for a year and a half, and it just gets better. The group that comes on to the Zoom is just inspired and transformed, and many will say, I would not start my Saturday without this. I love it too. I love it. So we're grateful that he was inspired to create this for us and to hang in there every Saturday. And then once in a while, we get to hear him on a Sunday morning too. And so I would like to introduce to you the love of my life, Rev Mike Gerdes.
Oh, that's great. Yes. Anyway, what a great introduction. Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be here today. With that meditation that Dr. Maxine gave and that fabulous treatment that Nettie Bonner gave, it's like, that's basically my message, what you heard right there. What my purpose is in my talk today is for us to embrace whatever is within us to express, to face the fears, and to allow God to embrace us, to transform us, to allow us to do what is ours to do, and then to do what is in front of us to do. This month, some of you are aware, is Women's History Month. And I'm remembering women in history, and there's been a lot of movement, they say, but you know, we still haven't had a woman president yet. I'm still waiting for that. I remember the first time I voted for president was 1972. I know that kind of dates me. And who I voted for was Shirley Chisholm. So what was special about that was it was a complete opposite from where my parents were. It was kind of one of those rebellions, step out and do something different things. That took bravery, you know. Well, what would I do today if I was brave? There's been a lot of things going on, and of course the subject of what's going on in Ukraine. You know, I don't know how many of you are aware of it or not, but we actually have a Center for Spiritual Living in Ukraine. And they've been having, as you can understand, a hard time. Now, for a long time, they've been standing out on street corners and in the street, teaching peace and having peace classes. But right now, they're in a situation which is very, very difficult for them. And something that we can do besides doing our spiritual mind treatment work, which we're doing, and avoiding thinking of, oh, God ain't it awful all the time, because that does not help. That only provides energy that's not good for the solution, is to financially support the Ukraine Center right now. And how you could do that would be to text to give at the following number. That's 707-343-4233. And if you want more information on that or more ways to be able to give, if you reach out to the office or to Reverend Dr. Maxine or myself, we'd be glad to help you. They are trying to provide for their families and to find a way to safety. And anything that you can contribute helps in that. You know, a lot of us have other things that we're worried about. And what would we do today if we were brave? What would we do in our career? What would we do today with our relationships or in facing our health situations. A lot of us have challenges along that way. I was meeting with people that have health challenges and they were faced with a life-threatening illness, and I pointed out to them that we've all got a life-threatening illness. It's called life. Nobody gets out of this life experience in the same body we came into this life experience. And nobody comes into our life to stay, and we don't come into anybody else's life to stay. But there are certain things that we can do. There is that which we can do to make things better in that regard. Yes, I know, we can talk about dieting, but how many of us have gone on a variety of number of diets and just haven't succeeded? That's because I think what's happening is that we're not including spirit in it. Because you see, it's more than just what you eat. It's changing our lifestyle. It's changing our character. It's changing our consciousness. And that requires a power greater than our intellect. That requires a power greater than that little ego within ourselves that wants another sugar fix. And then there's in relationships. How many of us have found ourselves getting into relationships just because we were lonely? If you get into a relationship just because you're lonely, get a dog. Oftentimes, they're a lot better than the relationship you find yourself in. But seriously, some of us are really starved for company. Some of us are really starved for a relationship with somebody other than ourselves. We need to be loved and feel somebody to love. I know what that's like. You really want somebody to love so bad, you can pick anybody. Because it's true we could love anybody, but do you really want to be with them? The key to that is to embrace a greater concept of love with your higher power, with the God of your understanding. And not only that, to embrace a concept of God, but to allow God to embrace us. How many of us have been told to embrace God, which is great, but we need to step back and allow God to embrace us. To sit quietly and allow God to speak through us, to allow God to uplift us, to allow God to guide us, and allow God to be the key relationship we have, so that we can grow into a greater relationship with that self that we are, that self with a capital S. I don't just mean our little ego, that thinker, feeler, perceiver that wants to pretend that it's God. I'm talking about your real self. You know, some of us start our careers because we just stumble into them, or because we're told what to do by our parents, or we just do what our parents did, or we just do what our older brother or our older sister did, because we really haven't figured out what is ours to do. And sometimes if we allow ourselves to connect with Spirit, we find out that what we're doing is really not right for us. We really need to make a change. We really needed to do something else. But do we have the courage to do that? What would you do if you were brave? Some of us want a raise, but we're afraid to ask for it. Some of us want an advancement in position, but we're afraid we're going to fail. I got a thought for you. I gotta embrace the concept of a new employer. Yeah, you still have somebody else writing your checks, but get this, your employer is not that company you work for or you work with, or the people that you work for or work with. Your employer is God. That's who your employer is. You've got a higher power that you work for. You've got a higher power that inspires you and uplifts you and guides you and directs you and provides for you. And that employer has got your back all the time. There's no layoffs. There's no shortages. There's never a time when Spirit doesn't have something for us to do, something for us to express, something for us to know. God wants to express itself, to experience itself, to have a good time by means of you and by means of me. The question is, are we doing our job? Now, does that mean that things always work out right in that job we're in? Yeah, they eventually do. Because if it turns out that that job's not right for us, there's another job that comes along. There's something else that we're guided and directed to. We will be provided for because we are provided for. The problem that some of us have is changing from what we've known to the new. Accepting a new concept. Because we get so comfortable in what we've known. Have any of you ever had a pair of shoes that were so comfortable you really didn't want to go buy a new pair of shoes? Even though you wore out a hole in them? The heels were gone? I'm going to read this to you. It's Dr. Holmes wrote this on page 439 of the textbook. He's talking about the verse from Matthew in the Bible, chapter 9, verses 16 and 17. He says, in saying that no man puts a piece of new cloth on an old garment or new wine into old bottles, Jesus was teaching a lesson in religious development. We are continuously living a new life. We are. And when the old and the new do not fit together nicely, the old being no longer able to contain the new should be discarded. Continually, we must expect new revelations of old truths. We should never lose sight of the fact that the soul is on the pathway of an endless and ever-expanding experience, and that only by expansion can we evolve. This does not mean that we should cast away any good that the old has to offer, but that we convert it into a greater good. Accepting the lessons and experiences of the past and taking the best from everything, we should press boldly forward, ever looking for truth and ever ascending higher and higher into the realms of reality. There is no limit to the possibility inherent in all people. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and press bravely on. You and I have an opportunity to express a greater good in the world, but sometimes that requires us to let go of what we've known up until now. And I understand that's scary. But here's a concept. God's got your back. God's calling on us to trust it. God's calling on us to trust it to do what it needs to do to express that goodness within you, to take care of us. You might say, yeah, but. Well, I'm not saying you just throw caution to the wind. I like the adage that says, trust in God, but tie your camel. We have to exercise wisdom. I mean, if you've got a health challenge, you need to do the things that you're told to do to maintain your health and to help grow and develop and get healthier. I know I started working out again. Boy, that's a shock. And I'm feeling better. And I'm eating better. And I'm sleeping better. And I'm kinder to myself. How many of us have been unkind to ourselves this last year? How many of us have focused on the negative this last year? You know, life really is a garden, and we receive, we express, we experience in it what we plant in that garden. And it's up to you and I to think about what it is we're allowing to be planted in that garden. And I suggest that we don't plant anything in that garden that is not like the nature of God. I suggest that we don't plant anything in that garden that we don't intuitively feel Spirit is asking us to do. Spirit is asking us to plant. Because this really is God's garden. And we're workers in the field. You say, what about the weeds that come out? If we plant enough good thoughts, those weed thoughts get crowded out. Especially thoughts like, here's this. Anybody plant a sunflower? Have you ever had a sunflower? Did you notice the weeds that grew around it? There weren't any. Good thoughts are like that. If you plant a good thought, the weeds don't grow around it. If you plant enough good thoughts, it'll crowd out anything that are unlike it. Now you and I have that opportunity to express that greater life. You and I have that opportunity to heal our finances. You and I have the opportunity to grow in our careers. You and I have the opportunity to experience lovely, wonderful relationships. But along the line, we have to ask ourselves why we're not doing it now. What are those fears that we're afraid to look at? What's my part in being stuck where I am? Stop blaming your employer. Stop blaming the people you're in relationship with why you're not happy. Stop blaming your doctors. Ask why you are where you are. Why are you afraid to make a change? Or is it because you think you're going to fail? It's only by failure we eventually succeed, you know. We got to keep on trying. We have to remember that the past does not dictate our future. It does not dictate what we can experience right here and right now. But we have to take a look at why we've been doing what we've been doing and sometimes change that around. Why have I been overeating? Well, maybe because I'm lonely. Why have I been looking for my career to fulfill me? Maybe because I don't feel that I'm worthy. Why do I look relationships, the wrong ones, all over the place? Maybe because I don't feel comfortable with who I am. Take a look at what's your part in it. Take a look at what's holding you back. Why are you staying where you are? Why are you stuck in what you're doing right now? You've heard what I'm sharing before. Have you done anything about it? If you've done something about it, keep doing it. Because eventually, transformation does occur. And maybe, just maybe, you might call a practitioner and get some support. You see, when we call upon God to do things for us, sometimes God shows up with skin on it. That's what I found. If I'm looking for health, God shows up as a doctor or a nurse or a therapist. If I'm treating for the right relationship, God shows up as Dr. Maxine. The point of it is that God shows up with skin on it oftentimes. And sometimes you need to ask somebody else, involve somebody else that you have confidence in and has confidence in you, knows who you really are, knows who Spirit really is at expressing by means of you, and really cares. So, I want to share a thought with you. What would you do today if you were brave? You would embrace Spirit. You would allow Spirit to embrace you. You would tend your garden. And then let God do the hard work. It's not ours to do it. Let God do the hard work. A lot of us think that we have to do the hard work, and that when we do that, we get in the way of what God's doing. When we can trust and do just what is in front of us to do, it all works out okay. Dr. Holmes on page 495 wrote, "The positive thought of truth is a shield against which nothing unlike itself can stand. In the science of mind, we learn that no thought of negation can enter a mind already filled with peace and faith. The suggestion of limitations, fear, and doubt cannot find entrance to that mental home where God is enthroned as the supreme guest." And finally, I'll close with this. It's from Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And so it is, and so it is. Thank you very much.
I'm going to just embrace him who embraces me. That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am uplifted. Thank you. It was wonderful.
She's good for my heart. You know that.
Wow. Yes, Spirit is always embracing us. And I'm very, very grateful that we had the most beautiful reminder of that today. Thank you. Keeping him. Now we're going to have our wonderful offertory. What a great opportunity to share appreciation for the source of our life, the source of our love. And I do love that God is our employer. God's always been my employer. And equal opportunity employer too. Thank you. So now let's prepare for our celebration of abundance. That's what our offertory is. It's a celebration of abundance. And we love to give to the closest source of our spiritual food. And for me, that is the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. And so as we prepare to circulate this divine prosperity, let's take a look to see the various ways that we can make contributions to our beautiful, beloved communities, right there on your screen. And then if you would, however you choose to give, and if you give in a way that is not putting your check in an envelope, great, but let's imagine that we're holding that check just as I am right now and holding it to our hearts. It reminds me that every beautiful gift comes from the very heart of God itself, and it is constant, and I'm grateful. Join with me in our prosperity affirmation. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forward to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is. And you will find that the offertory music today is exactly what we ordered for Reverend Mike's wonderful presentation.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, with the voice of courage whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
Hi, my name is Suzanne Smethers, and I'm thrilled to be a member of your Board of Trustees.
Yay!
Welcome, everyone. And yes, we are live streaming from the Inspiration Cafe here in Paoli. And we are thrilled you are tuning in with us today, wherever you are in the world. That was a wonderful, just an amazing talk from Reverend Mike today. And isn't it fun to have both Reverend Mike and Dr. Maxine in the same Sunday? Very inspiring. As Dr. Maxine shared this past week, our beloved community has a wonderful opportunity to join with lightworkers all around the planet to respond rather than to react to the world's current events. What we see and hear can accurately be described as a call to prayer, and it is our joyful and heartfelt responsibility to do so. Dr. Maxine offered a special spiritual mind treatment for peace, which you can find on our website. There's a link on the pop-up box, or you can click on the blog page. You are invited to use it if it speaks to you, or you may create your own and be part of the planetary movement towards real and lasting peace. Be on the lookout this Thursday for our e-newsletter from our president, Edie Jenkins, March Hotspot. Woohoo! If you are watching us and enjoying our Sunday celebration and love notes on our Facebook or YouTube live channels, please be sure to like, to subscribe, and to share with others. When you subscribe, you will receive notices when our Sunday celebrations and daily love notes are uploaded. Again, we continue to live stream on Sunday our Sunday celebrations every Sunday at 10:30. Just visit our website at www.cslphilly.org and click on the orange Watch Live button to see all of our virtual love notes and past Sunday celebrations. Well, that's it for today. Let's all go out and shine our light, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, Suzanne. We just love having your energy and your brightness on our Board of Trustees. Well, guess what? This is the first Sunday of the month. What does that mean?
Birthday.
It means that we are about to celebrate the birthdays of everyone who was born in March. If you were born in March, wherever you happen to be, will you kindly stand up so that we can honor you and sing to you? Are you ready? Hit it, Maestro. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yes, happy birthday to all of you. We're so glad you were born. Yeah, we're really happy to have you on this planet. Thank you. Okay, now is the time of our benediction. No, it's not. Now is the time. I've got too many notes on top of my notes. Oh, this is the best thing. We've been waiting for this all week. Okay, are you ready? This is the time of our closing song, which is a very, very special rendition of the beautiful peace song written by Jill Jackson and Cy Miller, Let There Be Peace on Earth. And it is sung magnificently by our 4 agreements. You'll recognize at least 2 of them. Let's let it begin. Maestro, please.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator. Children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me, Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be.
With God our Creator, children all are we.
Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace. Let there be peace.
That was beautiful. Our 4 agreements are so wonderful. Thank you for putting that together for us. That was Elaine, Roger, and our own Jeff and Emily. Beautiful.
And so we go forth, unafraid, with cheer in our hearts, because we know that wherever we go, God goes before us, and we can trust totally in Spurs. And so it is.
And so it is.